Folks, I need to find a therapist specifically to talk about this 2025 Razer Blade. It is driving me nuts. In typical Razer fashion, it has some of the worst issues of any laptop I've ever tested, but it looks fantastic, and it packs an unbelievable amount of power into a very thin and light chassis. It has a stunning display, great ports, a very comfortable keyboard, which by the way is a big improvement over older blades. Plus, it never gets uncomfortably warm to the touch, which is really surprising given its performance and size. So I'm kind of torn. I bought this laptop for myself, a portable video editing and gaming machine, and it was very expensive. The 5080 model cost me around $4,000 with taxes, and that was before the tariffs. It now costs even more. So help me. After you've watched this video, I want to know from you, should I keep this laptop or should I send it back? In fact, because I've personally been using it as my daily driver for the last several weeks, I'm going to do this review a little differently. I'm just going to tell you the pros of this laptop that I've noticed and then the cons that are definitely annoying me. The positives. As I said, the form factor of this laptop, it is amazing. It is incredibly thin and light for the components inside. In terms of portability, like weight and size, it's very competitive with Asus's Zephyrus G16 and the MacBook Pro 16. With its 280 watt power brick though, it does way more than those, but it's a lot less than a regular gaming laptop. Plus, the Blade, it looks far more stylish than the Zephyrus G16 and the MacBook Pro 16. In fact, this is, flat out, one of the best looking laptops out there. It has this subtle gamer aesthetic. Some people perhaps may not dig that, but I certainly do. Its black chassis does pick up grease, but it's much better than prior iterations, so it looks like Razer have improved the coating over the last couple of years. My only real nit is that its chassis, it just isn't the sturdiest. While the keyboard deck is firm, there is some flex on the lid and the back panel. But it is a super thin and light laptop, so it's kind of par for the course here. Next pro is the keyboard. It is a dramatic improvement from the Blades of old. Those just felt horribly low travel. This keyboard, it feels very comfortable. It has a satisfying click, and although it is loud, it isn't as loud as many other clicky keyboards. The individually lit RGB keys, they also look fantastic. What's really noticeable is that light, it isn't lost around the keys. On many other laptops, light just bleeds out around them. This causes you to be blinded trying to find which key is which in a darker environment. The keyboard, it also has this cool Razer feature where you hold down the function or shift keys and the secondary keys, they light up, making it easier to find what you're specifically looking for. Now, there is a column of special keys on the right side that pushes the keyboard to the left. Normally, I would hate this. I just always mispress keys. I go for the right arrow and instead press the mic mute button. This is especially an issue if you're using other computers with regular keyboard layouts, having to switch between them. But funnily enough, in the case of this Blade, it's kind of worth getting used to. The mic mute button, it's pretty useful. Next is the display. For the most part, it is fantastic. Vibrant OLED panel with great colors, 100% sRGB and P3, brightness is pretty decent at a little over 400 nits, resolution is also ideal for a gaming laptop at 2560 by 1600. That is enough for text to look sharp for everyday use, but not too high resolution for the GPU to struggle too much. And of course, you get a fast 240Hz refresh rate, and G-Sync. In fact, to maximize frame rates, you have Advanced Optimus, so you can run the laptop's display directly from the dedicated GPU without restarting. We saw no noticeable screen door effect, that's when coloured pixels are peeping through white coloured content. PWM flickering was undetectable for us. We did check Notebook Check and they did detect it, but said that the frequency was just too high for most to notice it. Ports, also a big win of this laptop. You get a fantastic variety. HDMI, USB-A, USB-C, of which one supports Thunderbolt 4, a decently fast UHS 2 SD card reader, but it's not just the variety of ports, it's their placement. They are placed in very convenient locations. You get a charging-capable USB-C port on either side, USB-A ports on either side, plus all ports are towards the back of the laptop, so you should be able to mostly keep your cables out of the way. My laptop, it did come with Razer's USB-C dock for even more ports. I don't know if this was a promotion or everyone just gets one. It's a nice addition of course, but really, this dock, it just feels dated in 2025. The only thing it really adds is Ethernet, but it's 1 gigabit, not 2.5, so meh. Rounding out connectivity, you get Wi-Fi 7, which is of course a nice to see. Next big pro is the heat you feel. Unlike past Razer laptops, this one actually remains comfortably cool to the touch in pretty much every use case, from casual tasks to gaming. At worst, it gets a little warm, but not enough to be annoying, and I am definitely sensitive to this. You may see in our gaming graphs it appears to get really hot, but that's not where your hands actually are. In real life, the heat you feel on this laptop, it is far better than our graphs make it seem. Alright, that was a lot of pros. We're going to move on to the cons, starting with performance, as performance, it is really both a pro and a con of this laptop. The pro of performance is that this laptop, it performs very well for its size. I have the model with 64GB of memory and an RTX 5080. Not only does it perform very well in gaming for a small laptop, but also other tasks like video editing. In fact, editing our videos on this laptop, it was noticeably smoother than on my MacBook Pro 16, and that laptop has the M4 Max chip, and it costs a similar amount to this one. But as far as 50 series laptops go, this one is the worst we've tested. The biggest issue is the Ryzen 9 processors that Razer are using. The 365 chip that is in my model, with the 5080 that is, and also the 5070 Ti model, is just not a great processor. It was a solid one end of 2024, but now it's not. Intel's new Arrow Lake HX chip just crushes the performance of this one at similar power levels. In fact, it also crushes the beefier version, the Ryzen 9 HX 370. What's even more concerning is that at the all-important 60-watt power level, which is what this laptop limits its CPU power to while gaming, the difference between these AMD processors and the Intel one that I just mentioned is even more noticeable. You see, gaming laptops, they tend to power limit their CPUs to allow more power to be fed to the GPU, so this is important. Anyway, at a minimum, all configurations of this laptop, they should have come with the HX 370, not just the RTX 5090 version. That chip at least has 2 extra cores and 100 MHz more speed. These laptops are certainly expensive enough for that to have happened. Or better still, just include a power-limited Intel Ultra 9 275HX chip. The Ryzen 9 365 chip, guys, it's just a bad pairing for a powerful RTX 5080. Anyway, this CPU performance can be seen holding back this laptop score in something like TimeSpy. When you look at less CPU-bound benchmarks like Still Nomad, which runs at a higher 4K resolution, or Port Royal, a ray tracing benchmark, the laptop performs more competitively. But it's not just the CPU that's holding it back. Even though this laptop claims that it can feed its GPU the max 175 watts, it is rare that this happens. On its performance mode, we frequently found that it was feeding its GPU less wattage than other gaming laptops feed the same GPU. Obviously, this is probably due to limited thermals of such a thin laptop. Anyway, those two factors combined, the CPU and the GPU wattage, and you can see that this laptop is held back in real-world gaming when compared to others with this GPU. Cyberpunk with DLSS off, walloped. Monster Hunter Wilds with DLSS off, walloped. That being said, this is a thin and light gaming laptop. Compared to something like the Sapphirus G16, it does do very well. Sorry, we only have last year's G16 model in right now, we are getting the newer one in. Moral of the story though, you are not getting the full value of the GPU you're paying for, and this may mean the 5070 Ti is a better choice. Next issue is fan noise. The Blade 16, it isn't the most quiet of laptops. It's not loud, but it's just not as quiet as other gaming laptops. This is really evident in light use. You can pretty much always hear the fans going in a quiet room. Even on silent mode, it's not completely silent. Also, what's weird is you can't even run the laptop on silent mode unless it's plugged into its power brick. Both performance and silent modes, they become disabled on USB or battery power, which is odd, especially for silent mode, as it's a lower power mode. Look, most other laptops in 2025 are just silent for light tasks. You don't even have to take them off their default balance mode. This is a much better approach, as you don't have to think, oh, I'm running a performance task now, time to switch performance modes. It's annoying. Anyway, rounding out fan noise in tasks like video editing or gaming performance tasks, it's definitely there, but it isn't the worst I've heard by any means. I'm just bringing it up as a con, as other brands, they have made more progress here. Next con is the glossy screen. If you're sitting somewhere with a bright light source behind you, you're going to see reflections. The screen, it just isn't bright enough to combat them. Like fan noise though, I wouldn't call it a reason to not buy this laptop, but you may have to angle your screen to avoid reflections. Also the webcam, it looks like it's good, but it's actually pretty disappointing. If we turn off our studio lights and just use normal lighting that you would use, it's very grainy. You'd think that if you buy a laptop that is this expensive, the creature comforts, they'd be all good, like on a MacBook, but they aren't. The speakers too. They really just don't get as loud as they should. Take a listen. Alright, battery life. It continues to be a con of Razer laptops. You may think that this laptop does well when running performance tasks when unplugged, but its performance in this situation is really poor. When doing a full battery rundown of a simple task, just playing a movie on repeat off the laptop itself, it didn't even last 5 hours, and that was on its best battery settings. The next con, and probably the biggest of using a Razer Blade, is stability. Oh my God, guys, Razers are consistently the buggiest laptops of any that I've tested, and this one, it is really bad. First, the trackpad, it frequently doesn't work. The cursor either just doesn't move or skips around. Tons of people on Reddit have reported this. Even when it does work, its palm rejection is pretty bad. This is a real shame as the tracking and click, they both feel really accurate and good. Second, Razer Synapse causes horrific issues. While Synapse is loaded, League of Legends was unplayable. Major FPS drops. I caught it on my phone, dropping right down to as low as 27 FPS. This is unbelievable and unacceptable. This is a very simple game and should easily run at hundreds of frames per second at all times. But it gets worse. While Synapse is open, the keyboard just double registers some key presses. Check out my Reddit post asking people if they have this issue. While I was writing the post, the R and P key just double registered. We did some digging and people have reported that there is some issues that cause Synapse to clash with your mouse if it polls above a certain frequency, a very low frequency which your mouse probably polls above. We can't confirm this, but we can confirm that Synapse being closed does eliminate these issues. Third, when plugging into an external display, the display is fuzzy. It appears like it's using the right resolution that's in Windows settings, but it's clearly not. You have to go and set it down to a different resolution and then back up to its correct one for it to register. Look, overall, Razer needs to get their act together. This is completely unacceptable on a laptop at this price. I literally have to close Synapse, disable the trackpad, and use a mouse for this laptop to be actually usable. And talking of pricing, these laptops are expensive, really expensive, especially given their issues and woeful support. As I researched this very video, there are examples of people trying to diagnose the problems that we were able to solve, on this video, and being told just stupid solutions like reinstall Windows. Razer support needs to stop wasting people's time in the veiled hope that something like that just solves their problem. It's 2025. Do your research and fix your software and drivers. What's worse is that they only give you a 14-day return period. For many people, it's just not enough to find these issues, and then you're stuck with their dreadful support. Alright, that is a wrap. You can clearly see why this laptop is going to send me to therapy. And for $4,000, do you think I should keep it? I clearly have a love-hate relationship with it. So let me know with a comment down below. And if you're looking to buy a laptop and you want to see our specific recommendations for your use case, check out our website at bestlaptop.deals. We are constantly improving it with better suggestions, better price tracking, and pretty soon, international support. If you want us to make more videos covering even more laptops and more comparisons between them, there is something free and easy that you can do to really make a difference. Get subscribed if you haven't already. It definitely helps us grow. It means that we can expand our team and produce more videos for you. Plus, as I always say, it makes my dearest mother very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.